So what kind of music are the Underbeats playing in Los Angeles?
Heavy harmonies.
I'd say come from Buffalo, Springfield, Electric Flag, Motown, those kind of things.
But you didn't change.
But it was like nothing they were playing out there.
Really? You were different.
Yeah, and we remained that way. Just like we were awkwardly unique.
Four lead singers.
Yeah, just
They had
stubbornly
four lead
unique.
singers, and they all sang together
Yeah.
perfect harmony. That's the whole thing. That's what it got everybody's attention, was the way these guys could sing together. That's what got all the people coming in to hear them. It's just like, wow, there's a wall of sound like you'd hear from Phil Spector.
Between
but it was
Tom,
live.
Rico, Walsh, and myself.
Yeah.
I mean,
So you get a
any
following?
one of us could lead a band.
So you get a following at Gazzari's?
Yeah. And they started calling us. Remember what they started calling us?
The Hip Four Freshmen.
No, the groovy people.
Oh, Jesus, I forgot about
Give me a
that.
goddamn, give me a break here for Christ's sake. So we had to get a name really fast. This was the kids started calling us that.
Because they didn't like the Underbeats people, so they started calling us the Groovy.
Yeah,
Forgot
that'll
about
look good on a record.
So was the Underbeats a square name?
Well, I don't even remember what we called ourselves then.
It was the Underbeats at Gazzari's.
I think it did start Underbeats, but that was the time when I started questioning, what the hell is an underbeat?
Did people know you were from
Why
Minnesota?
did that even catch on? Why,
Everybody was from somewhere.
somebody should have said no right away. Wrong, different name. Just, God.
Did you, being from the Midwest, did you stick out in Los Angeles as being
Oh,
different?
totally.
I didn't. I just faded into the woodwork. I didn't give a shit crap
No,
about this stuff.
we were definitely different. And that, but that made us pretty popular. I mean, we walked with a lot of them. Oh God, I don't want to get into that. But we had some good fun out there. We swept into these places. We had some good fun.
Where were you guys living in Los Angeles?
The Valley.
What part of the
Sun
valley?
Valley was
Sun
our
Valley?
first place. Yeah,
Just north of Los Angeles.
yeah. North Hollywood.
Yeah, that's right.
We had a pool.
That you couldn't swim in.
Why?
I did.
It was so cold. Everybody thinks Los Angeles is warm. Go jump in the ocean one time. See how
Well, the
it's
thing is,
cold.
too, it depends on the season. That pool.
We were out there in
That
November.
pool, water
Yeah,
has a
it's
tendency to stay. I don't know. It has a tendency to stay cooler than the temperature is.
So what bands did you see out there play live?
Oh God, I don't even remember.
Most of
Famous.
Gazzari's and stuff, there's a lot of people that left those bands that went into other bands,
Yeah.
and one guy ended up in the Carpenters, Tony.
Yeah, Tony.
And then when we started getting booked into the whiskey, we could go down there, because if you were working at the whiskey, you had to eat there.
It turned out at that time, in that period, we were the ones that made it. Out of all those bands that we played with, we were the ones that got the record deal and got an album deal. So then we started meeting people, but I didn't really hang out that much, other than the band stuff. I went to the studio every night when we recorded. I went home and did my thing there.
But you were married.
I was married, so I didn't hang out with I didn't hang out a bunch. It just worked.
How was the Whiskey A Go-Go different compared to Gazzari's?
Bigger.
Just much more famous. I mean, and you get, I've got Elmer Valentine and Mario. Oh God, those guys were so nice. They supported us, yeah. And especially Mario, the guy that did the door. And this guy looked like
He's still there.
shark skin suits, got white hair, kind of like a Tony Bennett kind of looking guy. You know
Sopranos.
what I mean?
The Underbeats were, almost every band I talk to, they tell me a story where their band vehicle rolled over and all the equipment was destroyed.
Never happened.
Never happened
Nope.
to the Underbeats.
Although I didn't think we'd make it back that night from Nisswa. Snow coming down, we couldn't see the road. Doni
there
was driving.
You're talking white out.
I'm the
White
driver.
out, complete
Hey,
white
just
out.
keep driving.
Yeah.
What the hell,
Just keep going, keep
We
driving.
didn't know where we were.
Back then, at night you were real lucky if you could get a skip from like Tennessee on the radio, AM radio.
Wolfman Jack.
Oh,
If you were lucky,
you
you'd
get
get
Wolfman.
Wolfman,
Lucky,
yeah.
And I was working then days. I was doing drafting work, and we'd roll in at 3:30 or 4 in the morning,
Yep.
and I'd go to work at 8 in the morning, and I'd fall asleep on the drafting board. And luckily, I had a guy that was friendly to me, and he'd come in and give me a little friendly prod in the ribs. And
You always had a problem because you're always
Well, I
sleeping
still have a
because he
problem
never
sleeping.
got enough sleep.
Well, also, we developed another thing. If it got to be like 1 in the morning, you run into one of those whiteouts or even fog. You remember the slippery frog thing?
Oh yeah,
Slippery
Remember
frog?
when it was frog?
Oh,
when it was
yeah.
frog season?
Up north.
Oh, the whole,
You'd
whole
skate off the
highway would be
road.
covered with
In
frogs.
the spring.
And people would run over,
Yeah.
and it was just like you're sliding along on frog scuds.
or the army
Okay,
worm.
once you get the first
Army
thing
worms
would happen.
with the
Oh,
mayflies,
what do you
too.
think? We find a motel? Yeah, we'd stay. We'd stay over. We'd find a little motel
Mm-hmm.
in one of these little towns, and we'd stay over rather than
Too
when
dangerous to drive on.
Yeah,
Oh,
too
yeah,
dangerous to drive.
Yeah, I couldn't.
Frog
See, that ended with when he went to service, the common sense,
Yeah.
as far as that went. Everybody else had to make it home that night. Well, that's why I always drove.
It's not,
Okay,
yeah.
let's say a 16-year-old kid comes up to you today.
Hmm.
I want to be a musician. What do you tell him?
Oh, hell yes. I've
Go
got
for it.
a nephew that's
Don't quit your day job.
graduating
I
from
don't
high
know.
school this
Nah,
year,
no,
and
no.
he wants to go into music as a career, and I totally support him. His parents say, get something else, and I said, no, let him be a musician if that's what he wants to do.
Do it right, let him get it out and see if he's
He'll
good
probably
enough
end
to do
up
it.
teaching someplace,
Yeah.
but that's
First
great.
thing I'd ask, you got anything else going for you?
Yep.
If he said no, then you better be a champion. You better
Better be
put it in
good.
your mind. You don't want to just be, that's okay. That ain't gonna get it. Well, that's good enough. Ain't gonna get it.
You gotta
Nope.
be
You
way
gotta
out in
really
front.
want to be it. You
And
gotta
lucky.
want to be it
And
bad.
lucky.
Yeah.
Jimmy,
That's a
tell
lot
me,
of
You
work.
really gotta
A lot of
want to
hard
do
work.
it. That's that's why
Jimmy told me once that you could have the knack here to be a good musician.
right.
When you went to Los Angeles, everybody had the knack.
Oh, you got your
Everybody's
great
got a
spank
guitar.
where you find a hole.
Bounce go.
Look at these boys. I mean, these boys could play. This is from you're talking all over the world. They land in Los Angeles. You think, holy, what kind of a chance do I have? But what you gotta have a unique mind. It isn't about being the fastest guitar
Yeah.
player or the best guitar player. You gotta have something unique on it. You gotta think phrasing.
Yeah, you gotta bring something different to the table.
Phrasing.
And-
Think of a melody that people can walk away whistling.
And song selection.
Oh, that's
Oh,
big.
song selection. Well, song selection doesn't become. It loses the picture when you start writing your own songs. Because you have to match all of your songs. Like what happened to me, I started writing songs for other artists. And therefore, at that time, I lost my, my spot and what kind of songs I would want to do for me. Because I started writing for other artists. So you want to be a writer, or do you want to be an individual? If you want to be an individual, you can't get too good. I don't know how to God, that's hard to put that into the right words. You don't want to get too good on your instrument, too good on your vocal styling. You want to develop your own individual style of playing. And it turns out the people that you admire most, they do their music. They don't play everybody else's kind of music. One that just came to mind recently, I've been hearing this commercial with Bill Withers. A couple of songs that he did. Just
Lean on Me.
amazing songs.
Amazing.
But he's not
simple.
the best singer you ever heard, not the best songs you ever heard, but boy, they fit Bill Withers.
Yeah.
Fit you.
Yeah.
I mentioned song selection, and it seems like the calling card for the early Underbeats was doing songs nobody else was doing.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It
Exactly.
still is.
Yeah.
And then it turned out other bands in town started doing those songs.
We were the most copied band out there.
And
I
then
think everybody.
And they weren't even our songs.
And they weren't even ours.
And the other thing that stands out to me is the vocal harmonies.
I had
Pushed to
Don
that
and
all-
Ray singing back on harmonies right away. The thing with Don could always sing the part, but the problem is he didn't know what to do with his tongue.
Yep.
He'd have
I
his tongue
couldn't
hanging.
play bass.
His guy said, Don,
remember
you don't
that.
need to put your tongue. Well, how do you sing without your tongue? How do you go out without your tongue out?
We were always fighting the mic too, because Donnie, our height difference.
Yeah, well, it had
And
two.
so I'd be singing down, I'd be singing up.
So we were the only ones doing background harmonies. Nobody else was doing that at that time.
Tom Nystrom told me, he said, I always thought I could play bass and sing. He said, and I went out one night and tried to sing and play bass at the same time. and I could sing separately and I could play bass separately. He said, but I could not do it at the same time. And so he came up to me and had to tell me that because that was my thing all the time.
Right. And this is where you develop respect for Paul McCartney.
Yes,
Yeah.
I absolutely, and Sting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your own. I got enough to do with this
I
bass.
just chose some songs where there's no background. You didn't have to.
What
worry.
was fun about that event when we had adoring fans who were in their mid-50s
Yeah.
Yeah.
coming up who were back 14 years old
Yeah.
back when.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah.
And
That's
they
a-
didn't
Oh,
notice
and they're sitting there
any
wanting our
difference.
autographs. We-
They thought we were
Jim,
great.
when you came into town, when you came back in 96,
96. Yeah.
we were walking over from the parking lot over to the Fine Line.
Hmm.
Guy comes out of his car and we're talking about who we're going to see, and said, who are you going to see? He says, my favorite group, the Underbeats. I said, well, you're looking at one of the originals. You'd have thought that he was a kid in a toy train shop. He went nuts.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy's a businessman out in Lakeville,
Right.
and I'm going, he's in his mid-50s and he's going nuts over a former Underbeat. I didn't really connect
Yeah.
with it.
That's
But
what
now I
feels,
do.
that's what feels so good is that we made that many people happy
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
back then. That we were a part of, that they still remember it.
Yeah.
It's a happy time in their life, and
Yep.
we were a part of it.
And I made Loopy really happy.
You're disgusting. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. That's the deal.
Guys, thanks for taking the time to go
You're
over the
welcome.
story.
You're
We
welcome.
totally want to
Hope you can edit all this stuff out. Somebody's gonna be busy.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the CD.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Thanks to the Ace Cream Coach.
Yeah.
That's okay. No problem,
Are
guys.
you off?
Right on the tape?
That's off over there, yeah.
All right.